All right, good afternoon, good morning, and Happy New Year. It looks like we have a good group of attendees. We appreciate you sharing the next 30 minutes with us, and we will get this completed in 30 minutes, and that's a testament to how intuitive and straightforward we believe Marcelli is. That's kind of one of our core principles in developing the software. 2015 is the year of forecasting. At least that's what we believe. This is the year to fix forecasting. I think everyone on the call has some sort of process in place that may work to some degree, probably isn't automated, and we've spent a lot of time and effort on our part, and I'll get into our backgrounds, but also learning from our customers and how to do this better. So next slide, please. The format here and kind of the rules, we'll take questions at the end, so save them if you will. We will share this presentation. We're recording it, and we'll get it to you so you can share it with people in your organizations if you wish. My name is Scott Rousseau. I'm the VP of Sales. There's my phone number and email. And Frank Donnie will do the second half, or probably the second two-thirds of this presentation inside our software. So Frank and I share a passion for forecasting. I'm a lifelong sales practitioner and have used the master spreadsheet and the Google shared docs and exported all the data out of Salesforce and every other trick that VPs of sales use, and none of them have been successful. Frank and I have known each other for several years. Frank comes from several places, including SAP, where he was the master sales forecaster, and Frank built quite a complex forecasting spreadsheet which managed about $2 billion a year worth of business. We have taken that and we have built Marcelli. Next slide, Frank. And Marcelli is an application. It is 100% native to Salesforce. We never remove your data from Salesforce, and we're the only application that we're aware of that does that. That offers a lot of security benefits, but also a lot of performance enhancements as well. So it's kind of a backdrop here from a variety of data sources. Over 50% of companies use spreadsheets to manage their forecasts today, and forecasts are static. The changes never make it back in Salesforce. They present some challenges. We actually partnered with the Star Conspiracy out of Dallas, and they did a survey. And the survey of 30,000 sales-related people came back at 24% believe that sales forecasting is an art. It's intuition. It is not a science. And Frank and I are strong believers that forecasting is, in fact, a science. It's a process. That forecasting is vastly different from pipeline management, and while Salesforce is the best pipeline management tool in the world, it is not a forecasting tool, which is where we come in. You can see the other statistics here. The big one, if you do run some quick math and make some assumptions, about 7% of total selling time for sales reps is spent forecasting and not making money for the company, not making commissions for them, not growing the company. There's got to be a better way, and we've done our best to build the better way. Frank's, one of our big kind of thought leadership concepts is the 4 rights of sales forecasting, and Frank will hit on these today. But basically, you have to have the right opportunities in the right stages with the right amounts or values and the right close dates to get to an accurate forecast. Now, that's not rocket science. But very few companies do all of those things, much less do all of them well. There's 3 components of forecasting: the technology, the process, the people. We can help you with the technology and the process. The people, if you give them the right tools and reward the behavior, the forecasting will come. And then, I said it before, but forecasting, the goal of accurate forecasting isn't simply bragging rights. It's if you figure out which deals to work on and how to make your sales reps' times efficient, you yield better and more results out of your time. So that's what this is. And Aberdeen, who does a lot of good work on the forecasting idea, says that if you forecast properly, that you can achieve these results, A, B, and C. And these are big, big changes, right? And we've seen them in our customer base when we free up companies from getting bogged down in the spreadsheets that they're emailing around back and forth, trying to get back up to the VP of Sales for his Friday meeting. And if you're efficient and you're tight and you figure out which opportunities to keep in your forecast and which to push out, you will do better, guaranteed. The 4 rights, Frank, do you want to touch on the 4 rights here real quick?
Yeah, so one of the things we really look at, and we can provide technology, can provide process to people, and the technology is giving some sales reps and teams the ability to have a worksheet and a way to add opportunities into a forecast and follow a forecast process. And those are 2 things that Marceli can definitely help you with. The third is the people part, which is making sure you have the 4 rights, which is that they're working on the right opportunities, which is all part of your qualification, that those opportunities in the right stages, which is following your sales process, right? Making sure that that sales process that you've spent time, energy, effort, and money on to deploy to your team, that the sales reps are actually doing that. And then the last 2, which are many times very difficult to do, which is the accurate value, and knowing in which stage the sales rep should have accurate values. And the following, which is probably something that hardly any companies train, but Marceli can definitely help you with, is how do you pick a close date? With the exception of that 1 out of 100 customers is going to tell you the exact day that they're going to buy your solution or your product or your service, right? How do you actually pick the right close date? And what we'll show you today is the forecasting solution. The other side of it is we actually have a behavior-based analytics application that's tied to our forecasting solution. And when you purchase Marceli, you get both. And in that analytics application, we provide a lot of deep behavior-based insights that allow us to help salespeople predict better close dates and other particular components of their opportunities. So when those 4 particular rights are followed in Salesforce and in any CRM system, you're going to get an accurate forecast really no matter what you do, because if you have that, that's the baseline of it. The flip side is if you can go out all day long and buy a piece of technology and load it up, but if you don't actually have salespeople who are following your process, they're having the right opportunities in the right stages, they know how to value and they know how to pick close dates, it's going to be very difficult to get accurate data. So what we're saying is Marceli helps with all 3, right? We have the ability to provide you insights, and if you do need coaching and mentoring and training and assistance, we have experts and advisors who help with that as well. Back to you, sir.
Awesome. Thanks, Frank. If anyone caught the title of the slide, In Numeris Veritas is Latin for the truth is in the numbers. That's kind of our tagline. Amplius in Numeris Veritas means more truth in the numbers. The other tagline that we use is, and our goal is to enable you to have each of your individuals in your sales chain of command complete their forecast in 5 minutes or less. I think we've talked about this slide enough. We can keep going here. This is real life, and I think every single customer we have before they implemented Marceli had some version of this. They had the sales ops person with the master spreadsheet, sometimes finance person. They use shared docs. They factor by team or by rep. They use the stage weighting in Salesforce, i.e. each stage has a probability percentage assigned to it, which we believe is grossly flawed because you can't close less than 100% of a deal, and you can't lose more than 100% of a deal, right? That's binary. And these processes enable the salespeople to do what salespeople do well, and I'm one of them, and I'm guilty, and that's to get creative and crafty and work around the system and hide what's really going on. And we prevent that with Marceli. Next. I said this, forecasting is not pipeline management, 2 very different ideas and concepts and processes. Next. Here's this is fascinating. This is kind of the latest functionality enhancement or software addition we've made to Marcelli. And the technical verbiage is snapshotting. Think of it as time stamping. Salesforce, as everyone knows, doesn't take a picture of a data set in time and save it so you can go back to that point in time and compare a pipeline or a quota or a forecast or any other metrics for that matter. In Marcelli, these 20 different metrics, we've written code that takes a snapshot in time as soon as you implement Marcelli, and then you set it an auto schedule. You can take that snapshot weekly, quarterly, monthly, whatever you may choose, and then you funnel that data, those snapshots, into dashboards, and you trend this information over time. And this is awesome. Again, all the data stays in Salesforce. There is no other way that we're aware of in any other solution today to do this. And so we'll talk to it here in the demo, but this is significant. Then what makes us unique and different? We're 100% native. We're on the App Exchange. We have been for over 2 years. We install and configure our sales metrics piece in an hour. The forecasting piece varies with the number of reps you have because we load quotas for each person. As soon as we install, you can see the historical analytics since whenever you implemented or installed Salesforce.com, including if you merged instances of Salesforce.com or added products or changed management, you can go back and run the analytics, on those different pieces. And the ROI, we're priced like Salesforce per user per month. That's actually 2014 pricing. $49 per power user. Power user is anybody other than a direct sales person, and $19 a month for a direct sales rep. Now, those prices go down with volume, so we believe we're very affordable. In fact, we get more people that ask us or recommend that we increase our prices than people that ask us to reduce or decrease. We offer a free trial. It's on the App Exchange. It's quick and easy. We'd be happy to walk anyone here on the webinar through that process, or you can do it on your own. We get a notification, so we'll know if you do it. But 30 days, your data, play around the tool, full functionality. Have great success doing that. So that offer is extended. So it's 2:14. We'll switch to Frank here. He's already switched pages. This is Marcelli. It should look like Salesforce because it is in Salesforce. And with that, Frank, it's all you.
Great, excellent. So when you load the application, the sales reps managers and your hierarchy in Salesforce have access to the forecasting solution. And when it loads up, the forecasting solution provides you with 3 baseline tabs. And also, we put your dashboard tab on here as well because we provide and help you build dashboards for forecasting and for pipeline management and also for other analytics that come along with the application. So I'm logged in as a sales manager, and I'm going to take a look at my team's forecast. So I'm going to click on the tab, and it's going to open up a unique view of a forecast. The page is set up in 3 main areas. The top area is my view choices, where I can look at my forecast versus a quota. I can look at different time periods, this month, this quarter, this year, and future time periods. And I can toggle between the risk scenarios that we will set up for you inside of the application. And the risk scenarios that we provide as part of the Marcelli methodology, whereby we look at the ability for salespeople to choose between 3 different risk scenarios to place their opportunities. And in the view that you have here, the 3 sample scenarios are commit, likely, best. These are customizable to your organization. Commit would be basically we won this amount of revenue. We have the next in light green amount of revenue in verbals. Likely would be what I've won, what I have in verbals, which is my commit, plus opportunities that I believe are going to be closable in this time period. We may have a couple more activities to do on the opportunity to close it, but we should be able to get it done this particular quarter. And the best view is a summary of all three together, added up, and best would be those opportunities that you know are going to be a stretch to get done this quarter. We may have to do significant price decreasing or spend significant time to get the deal done, but those are our opportunities that we're reaching for. When you toggle between these views, it summarizes it on the right over here, where it gives you your opportunity forecasts, which are the opportunities that your salespeople have put into these scenarios. It compares it to the quota for the team, and it provides you with either a gap or an upside, depending upon whether you have a higher quota than what is currently forecasted in Salesforce. You can see here that this particular team has a gap of about 130,000. And then we can break down each of the views. The next main section is the table. In the table, what we do is you have, as a manager, you can see all of your direct reports right in one table, and you can see all the main information, right? Their forecast, their quota, whether they have a gap, whether they have an upside, how much they've won, and then your three scenarios, what's in commit, what's in likely, and what's in best that they have chosen. Similar to the top, the sales manager then has a quick ability to see the players down in another chart. So when I look here, I can see that Jim, Kathy, and Bob are trending fairly nicely through the quarter. I know we're early in the quarter. It's January 15th. We can see they're trending nicely. I, as a manager, don't show up because I'm not quota carrying. Now, if I was a manager who's a player coach and I quota carry, my quota would be in here too. And I know that here we have Bob Smith. Bob is really struggling. And Bob could be a new rep, or he could be a rep that is in your bottom percentiles and is really struggling. So as a manager, let's say I want to work on one of my reps' quotas and I want to have their forecast and I want to change some information. I can simply click Update, and I go into the sales rep's actual worksheet. This is what the sales rep uses to build their forecast. And what we do is we look at your sales process, and there is a stage in your sales process whereby when an opportunity makes it to that stage and has a close date of the view that you have, which is this quarter, the opportunity gets put on a list, and we call this a forecastable list. And very simply, the sales rep can either add or take away opportunities from their forecast, and when they do that, this data up top changes in real time. For example, if I'm a rep or a manager and I know that, wow, you know, this opportunity here that's in this presentation stage, there's no way this is going to make it. I know the company isn't going to do it. This sales rep has happy eyes and ears. I'm going to take it out. I just simply click and take it out, and the data changes up top. If I want to add, I can simply click the box. I can choose the scenario that I'd like to add it to. And again, the data up top changes based on my selection. And this all happens in real time. And what's beautiful about this, everybody, is it gives salespeople and managers the ability to do a scenario, right? They can scenario their forecast. Boy, if I win this one, what's it going to be? If I lose this one, what's it going to be? They have the ability to toggle between these different choices and be able to see that. If they want to look at their quota and how they're doing year to date in their quota, they can simply click on quota, and they can open up a very unique quota view that we install for you, which is a roll-up quota. You can look at it by month, and you can have your actual quota on the left and your actual performance on the right. It then rolls it up by quarter, and then it rolls it up annually for the sales rep so they can at any given time see where this is. And when Scott said something about time stamping, what we do is we time stamp this data and we put it into a report whereby then we can build dashboards and custom reports and views for you based off of this information. So this allows us to then trend forward and backward in time for you so you have that. So I'm going to jump back to the forecast view. So as a sales rep, if I finish this screen, I just stop. There's no submit button. There's no I'm done button. This rolls up automatically then to your manager view. So a best practice for our customers is they say, hey, reps, I'll go in, use your worksheet, update all your forecasts by 5 o'clock on Friday, and then don't touch it. Because as a manager, I'm then going to go in and take what is here and I can, if I want to, I can export it to Excel. Simply click on the export button, and all this table basically exports so that you have that. Or my manager, Scott Rasu, can simply go in, click, and this might be my manager's view, the SVP's view, and he or she can then go in and see the entire team. They can see everything in one shot, depending upon how much information they want to see. So once you're done with your forecast, if you want to work on your pipeline, what's unique is you can click on pipeline, and we give then the salespeople a view of their pipeline, excluding their forecasted opportunities. So if you want to see what's remaining in your forecast that's in your pipeline that's not in your forecast, you simply have the ability to move to a new view, and you can see your opportunities, you can see your value, and then we start bringing in our analytics and some really neat visual force pages for sales reps to see. They can see what's in their stage by value. They can see units, which is trended in this green line. I can see my conversion rate, which is percentage of opportunities that move from stage to stage. This is a measurement of leakage. And as a sales rep then, I can see those points in my sales process where opportunities are not moving forward or where I'm losing them. And it shows me the parts of my sales process and pipeline that I need to focus on with regards to moving opportunities through. And then they can also see velocity, which is days in stage, right? And we can trend that against a rolling 12 months for them so they can see how long it's taking them to move opportunities from one stage to the next, where things are getting stuck and where they're most efficient. We can then also advance this, and we have deeper analytics views whereby if you want to see this by rep, by team, by opportunity type, if you want to see what your close rate is by stage, or what your true close rate is for opportunities that make it to closed one, we show you those analytics in our analytics view in the application. The next view that we have that reps and managers use, usually monthly and quarterly, is we have this neat thing called the push report. And what this is this is a balance sheet. This balance sheet actually tells you what I had, for example, in the beginning of my fiscal quarter, such as last, or your actual quarter, what I ended with over here in the 89, and then what happened in between. So, for example, this is your debits and credits. This is my in and my out of my pipeline. And in one click, it tells the sales rep and the sales manager as they're doing pipeline management, hey, Frank, what happened to your pipeline last month or last quarter? If I want to look at last month, I simply click on last month. And if I want to compare it to this month, I simply can scroll down, and I can pick this month, and it adds the two together, and it tells me my math. And this information is also downloadable to Excel. And if you want to say, gosh, Frank, you pushed 11 deals this month already. What were those 11? Where did they go? I simply click on this 11, and it does the research for me and provides me the information and the data. And one other unique thing is we want to point out as well is we also do opportunity quality scoring based off of how salespeople have managed their opportunities in Salesforce. How many times they've changed the value, how many times they've changed the close date and pushed the opportunity. We have the ability to do a quality index score on each opportunity, and typically the lower the score, the worse the opportunity or the worse quality of the opportunity is. So we have the ability to do this, and then we also have the ability to then predict which opportunities based off of scores will actually become forecastable or make it to a forecast or actually make it to be closed won.
And we won't get into too much depth here, but there's 7 parameters by default that you define which ones have the largest negative impact on your deals. Some customers think it's when a sales rep decreases the dollars. Other say it's when you move at the close date. But basically, for each of those 7, you assign the point deduction that is applied each time that happens to the deal.
Excellent. Cool. And then you can also toggle to amount, because we know that amounts and units many times tell a different story. And finally, what we wanted to show you today is, let's say then you want some unique dashboards around your forecast. Because we do time stamping, we can actually give you shots of your forecast or your pipeline in some very unique manner, such as if you want to see, show me my month, show me my quarter, then show me quarter plus 1, quarter plus 2, quarter plus 3, right? We can actually show you out into the future what your quota is and what sales reps have already put into some type of forecast. And where this becomes important is if you're doing renewal-based business, run-rate business, whereby you know that you've sold a chunk of business, and then for example, you may have additional deals spread out over the year. And what the salespeople can be doing is they can be taking those opportunities and putting them in the forecast in the future period, so you can actually look out time and see the impact of renewal business that might be having on your current forecasts. You also do unique things, such as the application has the ability for you to do manual forecasting. So if you actually want to allow your salespeople to enter a number, and it might not be the actual forecast that they have used in Salesforce against live opportunities, you may want to then give them the ability to give you a number and say, hey, look, in Salesforce, I know that I have $200,000 in real opportunities that I put into my forecast, but I actually think I'm going to do $300,000. We actually give you the ability in the application to do all that we have showed you based off of a manual forecast capability as well. And if you do that, we can then apply the manual versus what you actually have live in Salesforce as coded, and that's another example here. And finally, we have about 5 minutes left. I want to make sure we have enough time for Q&A. Because we also snapshot, we can do pipeline coveraging for you, so we can take a look at what you have in your pipeline and what you have in your forecast, and we can look forward in time and tell you whether you have enough coverage in your pipeline based off of what you either have forecasted or what your quota is. And that's a unique piece of the application. And then also, if you're doing product-based forecasting, we can actually take your scenarios and we can break them up by product if you want to as well. So you can look at, gee, you know, what product percentage makes up commit, what product percentage makes up likely and best. And in each one of these dashboards, there are reports then that are behind you that you can have access to see your deeper level of data that's behind the scenes. So that's pretty much it. So really, it takes a sales rep about 5 minutes to make their forecast. It takes a sales manager 5 or 10 minutes to review their forecast, and if they want to change anything in their forecast, they can simply go in. They can simply go into the sales rep's personal worksheet, change the forecast, and also, if you want, we can also put in workflows for you that if a manager does change an opportunity forecast, an email can be sent to a rep to notify them that a particular change is made. So we have customers who use the application like that in many different ways. So Scott, we do have a couple questions. Do you have anything you want to add before we jump into some questions?
Yeah, two things come to mind. One, we support multi-currency usage, and we won't get into the details, but we have several. We actually have a very high percentage of global customers who work in several currencies. Some roll up to the headquarters currency for their forecasts. Others do it differently, but we handle that no problem. The other thing is when you first implement and configure Marcelli, you have an option to toggle all opportunities as forecastable and to pick the default category they go into. So to avoid the situation where you implement Marcelli and then have everyone go click all their forecastable opportunities, we handle that in batch at the beginning of the process. So it's clean and easy.
Excellent. All right, Scott. So first question is, how would a company implement this? Scott, I think that might be maybe how a company would roll it out.
Great question. So yep. What we recommend is, Frank and I are hands-on, passionate. We like to be involved from the get-go. So you can go download the Marcelli trial from the App Exchange when we're done here, and depending on your skill set, be off and running. If you have, sometimes there's oddities in Salesforce or how you've decided Salesforce that may require a little extra work. But let us know. We want to work with you. We help you. We typically like to get a team, whoever owns Salesforce and forecasting, train those people, and we can do train the trainer, whereby they then go out and educate the Salesforce, or we stay with that process and have some set training sessions. We've done this many, many times to get in front of those Salesforce in small groups with their sales leaders so we can train through and make sure people are comfortable with how it works.
Got it. So Scott, this one's a good one. Someone's been listening. I want to take a shot at this one. So somebody put in the question, so if I don't have my full rights right, this application won't work. So when most of our customers start working with us, they all struggle with the full rights, meaning working on the right opportunities, have them in the right stages, have them with the right value, have them with the right close dates. One of the things that Marcelli does as part of our advisory service as well is we'll help you with that. We have intelligence and analytics that gets down to the actual sales rep level that will help show you which sales reps are struggling with the full rights. And we also provide you with learning information and intelligence. So one of the things that we do and we recommend is you start using the application, at least get forecasting back in the Salesforce, and then we start working with you, if you care to have that, with each of those sales reps or coach the coach or coach the trainers or coach the frontline managers on how to help salespeople pick better close dates, do better valuation, right? Both of those, they go hand in hand, right? So you have to be able to do both. So the answer is no, the application doesn't work if you don't have the full rights. The challenge that you have is, and that everybody has, is you need all three, right? You need a technology application, you need process, you need people doing the right things in Salesforce. And all three of those go hand in hand. And Marcelli is here to help you with all three of those. We just don't sell you a piece of software, right, and call it a day. We also, like I said, we provide coaching and advisory services to help you with that, because that is something, change behavior, right? Human change behavior, sales rep change behavior is something that's ongoing. As you lose salespeople, as you add salespeople, right, those behaviors change. And you have to monitor and watch those and help those salespeople, because like I always tell everybody out there, the fallacy out there is give me a real good sales forecasting tool and everything's going to be rosy. Well, forecasting is as much about sales behavior, an individual person's behavior, than that it is the process and also to technology. So when all three of those components work in sync, right, you will have a 90% plus accurate sales forecast. And that's what Marcelli is here for, right? We're technology, where we provide you with what we showed you today, which is very simple, intuitive, easy to use. We provide you with process, which is the scenario-based model, not the weighted-based model, because as Scott mentioned before, right, weighted forecasting is great at the executive level, because if CFOs and executives want to do weight-based forecasting based off of historical ability to close opportunities through your sales process, that's great. But when it comes time to actually knowing what your forecast is going to be and what number you're going to hit, it's deal-based, right? It's opportunity to opportunity to opportunity. And in our experience, and in Scott's and mine and a lot of our customers, it's about risk. It's about which opportunities should I be spending time on, right? Which opportunities should be in which particular forecast scenario, so that I, as a manager, know where my risks exist. And if it's so, instead of using that probability, that weighted forecasting by stage, which is, hey, we think we're going to do 80% of the negotiation stage, the first question is which 80%? And that's impossible to get to because you can't close 80% of a deal. It's either you win the deal or you lose the deal. So that's sort of our whole aspect of weighted versus that. So those were the three questions.
Real quick.
And I know we're up. Yes, Scott, anything else?
Yeah, real quick, what I was going to say is what we didn't highlight very well this time, and maybe my fault. Frank, in another life, was a senior executive at one of the largest sales training companies in the United States. And if you can't tell by his demeanor, he's very good at teaching, coaching, and improvement. In fact, that's, I think, probably his core passion. So as a result of that, we have a group of people, some on staff, some consultants, who do that for a living and are best in class, who we put on site with customers or do it remotely with customers to train not the software, but everything Frank just articulated.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference.
And one last point, the hardest thing, everybody, for this isn't how to actually use the application. You ready for this? Here's the hardest part. how do I pick which scenario I put my opportunity into? Because this is where the game's played. Unless you have definitions of these scenarios locked down into what makes up each one of these scenarios and why an opportunity should or should not be in these scenarios, this is where the mistakes are made. So one of the things that we really coach heavily on when you work with Marcelli is we help you, if you don't, we help you put together these definitions, we help you put together the learning documents around these, and we help you coach your frontline managers on how to coach their sales reps on how to pick these scenarios. Because where you spend your time on coaching and training and forecasting, do it at the frontline manager level. They are the force multipliers for your team. So they're the ones who, when they sit down with the sales rep and they're going through this view, for example, for Bob Watson, and they're trying to help Bob understand, right, which opportunity should be in which particular scenario, this is where the rubber hits the road. And this is where those definitions, right, of these forecast scenarios are paramount, right? Locking these down, making sure that each sales rep knows what they mean and which opportunities go where, right? This is where the funny games can be played many times, and unless you're really straight with this and people in the front line know how to put opportunities where and which one of these scenarios, this is really the hardest part of bringing an application like this live. So Scott, I know we're out of time. We don't want to take up any more folks' time. Any last-minute statements, Scott, before we wrap it up?
No. We appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you. We will follow up by email and phone here in the next day or two. Our goal is by close of business tomorrow. But if you have immediate interest, feel free to reach out to us via our website, www.marcelli.com, or here's my email address, scottrasu@marcelli.com, and my phone number. And we hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and we'd love to take a next step and show you a little deeper view of Marcelli and the benefits it offers.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great day.